reaching us will be of interest across the North London divide at Tottenham, because we're hearing that Ajax have agreed with Erik Ten Hag an extension to his contract. It previously ran until June of next year. The new agreement will take him up to June 2023. He had been a reported target for Tottenham. Looks like that is no longer the case, because Erik Ten Hag has signed a contract extension at Ajax until 2023. Reaching us will be
That's an interesting piece of news this morning. Erik Ten Hag, who yesterday we were told was in conversations with Tottenham about a proposed move from Ajax to North London, that is now seemingly off. There are a contrary of reports, some suggesting that Spurs have been turned down. Fabrizio Romano has said that that isn't the case. Here is what Fabrizio Romano had to say. He says Ten Hag has extended his contract to Ajax. He has not turned down Tottenham. He says the Tottenham board decided to step back after talks. So Fabrizio Romano is presenting this as Tottenham walked away from Erik Ten Hag. I want to know how many of you believe that to be true, whether that's Fabrizio. I mean, we don't know who Fabrizio has been fed that information in from. It sounds like Tottenham have put that into him. But is this a case of you 110% believe the news that Tottenham are putting out? Fabrizio is just telling us what he's been told. Who are Spurs going after? Julian Nagelsmann isn't going to be their manager. Erik Ten Hag is now not going to be their manager. They were two of the biggest names that got the juices pumping amongst Spurs fans. We want to hear from you this morning. Make sure you get your super chats in. Hit that like button. Share this on your social media streams as well. But Erik Ten Hag has extended his contract at Ajax and will not be the Tottenham manager. And what's really interesting is that yesterday the news was Spurs had preliminary talks, and the real negotiations were not going to begin until after Ajax secured their title. So that's why I'm confused about the news that Spurs walked away. It doesn't make any sense to me. It isn't computing right now, but maybe you can enlighten me. Tahir says, nothing appealing about Spurs. Well, we know that Brendan Rodgers has also removed himself. Brendan Rodgers has also removed himself from the possibility of being the Tottenham manager. Maybe it is going to be Graham Potter, maybe Eddie Howe. The bookies' favourites are starting to increase, though. Gareth Southgate's name will not go away, and Tottenham fans, I want to ask you a genuine question. Do you have faith in your board for walking away from Erik Ten Hag and going for Gareth Southgate, going for Graham Potter, going for Eddie Howe? Are these really the caliber of manager befitting of your new stadium and the ambitions that your club tells you it has? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on that as well. We're going to go to some calls very soon. Neeks is backstage. KJ's backstage with me. We're going to share the link now on the Discord server. If you're not part of our Discord, go and sign up now. The link to do that is in the description below. We're going to put it into the Chelsea. No, not Chelsea. Why would I do that? Into the Tottenham chat room over on Discord. So make sure you go there and find it. We're going to go and share that over there now so you can all come on and have your say, because we want to hear from you. But we also want you using that Discord server. It's very, very important to the Football Terrace that you get that done. Do some more of your live comments first, though, because I want to know what you're all thinking and feeling here about this big breaking news this morning. Tahir says they're trying to go for cheaper options. Is that right? Ali just puts laughing emojis after the name Southgate. Bring Kane to Manchester United. I hear you on that. Eddie Howe would be great for Spurs. I'm not attacking these managers, but are they really going to make Tottenham genuine top four contenders, title challengers, and be able to pick up winning trophies? That is the question. Are they going to be able to do that? Erik Ten Hag yesterday, it sounded almost a shoe-in the way that it was presented. What I'm not buying into or not accepting is this notion of we walked away from Erik Ten Hag. That doesn't seem right to me. He's one of the best up-and-coming. For me, he's got better credentials than every other person they're linked with. Every other person they're linked with. but maybe that's just my thoughts and my feelings in relation to this. We're going to have a man like Josh on very, very soon with us as well. But first up with me this morning, we're going to go to Tom Little's going to be on with us here, Liverpool fan. Tom, welcome back to the terrace, mate. What do you want to say?
You know what? I could have seen. I can actually believe that Tottenham have walked away, but not because they don't want to. I just think they cannot afford to pay this compensation fee that they're going to have to for Ten Hag, because they put managers on garden leave. I think that's what they call it, where they start to pay them, just not one lump sum. So they're still paying off Jose, who was on a mega contract.
Yeah.
And this new 1 year deal for Ten Hag has probably got a bigger compensation fee that Tottenham probably just can't justify without the Super League money that they were going to get.
Mate, I think you could be right. This could be a case of two things. One, how much it's going to cost to land Erik Ten Hag, who's a top-class manager, but also what he wants. Maybe he isn't willing to go to Tottenham and be on the shoestring. So for me, I'm not slamming Fabrizio Romano, one of the most reliable journalists out there. When I say reliable, he gets the information directly from clubs and people in the know. But I believe that is Spurs spin. Oh, we had a chat and we walked away. I think what they've done is he's going to be too demanding. He's going to be too expensive. We're going to go for a cheaper alternative. You know, instead of, you know what I mean? It's instead of buying a Range Rover, they're going for the Ford Cougar. Now the Ford Cougar,
they're trying to just bridge the gap instead of taking the next step. Just trying to be stable. Tottenham should be taking that next step. Gareth Southgate, Eddie Howe is not the way forward for Tottenham Hotspur. They went from the likes of Pochettino, the likes of Mourinho, to Eddie Howe. It doesn't make any sense. It's like they don't want to be a big club anymore. There's no way they deserve that.
No, I hear you completely. I hear you completely. As I said, you know, they want to. The way I've always looked at Tottenham is they want to drink champagne with lemonade money. And that's the problem. You're not going to dine on the elite top table unless you put your money where your mouth is. And picking a Southgate, picking an Eddie Howe, picking a Graham Potter, they are good managers, but they are not the elite of the elite. There is no doubt about it, in my opinion. Tom, thank you. We'll keep you backstage. We'll bring you on with the panel again a little bit later, mate. Top man. Thank you. KJ's coming on next to have his say. Before that, we've got a quick super chat. It says, let's all be honest. If you sign a manager for Spurs, you won't be supported and your career will be over. Managers are scapegoats to make money, period, is what Awesome says there. KJ's on with us now. Morning, KJ. What's your thoughts on this breaking news this morning that Spurs have supposedly rejected Ten Hag?
What am I hearing? They haven't rejected Ten Hag, fam. They just don't have the facilities, fam. They don't have the facilities for that big man. You know what I'm saying? They can't afford Ten Hag. And I'm hearing that, Tom, I respect you, yeah? But I'm hearing, they don't deserve Spurs don't deserve a Eddie Howe or Graham Potter. What are you chatting about? This is the history of the Tottenham. They ain't, like Terry, you said, these managers aren't elite managers. Yeah, you're right. Because Spurs aren't an elite club. They're not an elite club. So expecting them to get all these sick top managers is a foolishness. They are returning to what they are. That's all it is. They had their purple patch. They had their time. Their golden generation failed. Their manager failed. Their players have failed time and time again. And I don't get where this whole thing of, but it's Spurs. We should be going for the best. We should be trying to get top four. We should be challenging for the league. Stop. Accept it. You're going back to where you are, which is being losers, bro. Expect 7th and 6th to be a successful season for years to come now. Just accept it. Top 4 ain't the goal no more. You guys are a team. You're basically Everton. You're London Everton. You're basically Wolves, who are hunting for Europa League, West Ham and that. You know what I'm saying? Hunting for Europa League as success. That's all it is. They're returning to normality. And this whole thing of they deserve more, they deserve better. Get out of here, fam. They're freaking Spurs, bro.
Mate, I hear you on that completely. We'll bring you back on with the panel in a little bit, mate. Just stay backstage for me if you can. Thank you. Everyone here saying KJ is speaking facts. And listen, I don't overtly disagree. I'm not buying right now. No, look, we're going to get Josh on in a minute, who's a Spurs fan. I can't wait to get his take on the news this morning that supposedly Tottenham walked away from Erik Ten Hag and not the other way around. We had a new membership sign up. Thank you very, very much here to Sadu for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. We've got some amazing stuff in store for members. In fact, Josh is coming on in a minute. We had a little chat this morning about what's in the pipeline for the Football Terrace. Become a member. Really, really important moving forward. That will be, especially for your access to this newfangled type of show we're doing. The mistake Levy made firing Poch will haunt Spurs fans and the club for years to come. Do you know what's interesting about that? I was watching, I know they lost the other night, PSG, but I was looking at it and thinking, you sack Poch and he moves on to bigger things. Do you know what I mean? Is there any more embarrassment than that? It's like my boss coming up to me today saying, Terry, look, we don't think you're good enough to run this commercial department anymore. We're getting rid of you. And then in 9 months, I'm running Apple. You know what I mean? Hey, you're in bits, bro. That's it. We've got a man like Josh on with us now. Morning, mate.
Morning, mate. How you doing?
I'm good. You rejected Ten Hag, supposedly.
Apparently.
Are you buying that legit? Are you buying that?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think that probably what happened is like this, because the truth is always somewhere in the middle, isn't it? Yeah. And yesterday, before all this even broke, Alistair Gold, who is pretty good for Tottenham, he said, "Yeah, they're having a meeting today, but I've already been told that Ten Hag has got an offer from Ajax." Basically, he said that he could extend his contract, and he says clear that he's like the mouthpiece of the club. He says that we are not in for Gareth Southgate. So I just want to get that out of the way. That like we're not in for Gareth Southgate. But on this Ten Hag thing, I think it was a mixture of like Ten Hag's probably come in and gone, wait, like I'm working for one of the best run clubs in the world, the Ajax. They're legendary. They're like Barcelona, the way they bring through their youth and stuff like that. They're probably one of the best teams in the world for it. And he's got a constant production line of great young players, a monopoly on the best talent in that part of the world. And he's coming into Spurs where he's going to have to deal with people like Steve Hitchen and Daniel Levy. So he's probably thought, do you know what? I don't think this is a good career move for me because I'm not going to have the support that I do at Ajax. And also, I'm choosing to look at this as a positive because I've got the tweets to back this up. I'm not one of these people that is just switching because Ten Hag is, not coming anymore. I've said from the start that I don't really want Ten Hag. He only makes sense if we're getting a new structure in place. This is a guy that has succeeded in a great, Ajax team, which it's a different situation to Spurs. We're not a big dog in this league. Do you know what I mean? It's not the same as working for Ajax. And it's almost like Ajax do well whatever manager they have. It's not the same thing. So, and you look at what happened with Frank de Boer. He did brilliant at Ajax. He came here and he couldn't cut it in the Premier League. I didn't want Ten Hag. I'm going to get slaughtered for this, but I've been saying in the group chat as well, after Nagelsmann went, my 100% first choice is Graham Potter. Like that is actually my first choice, honestly. I would take Rangnick. I think he's Rangnick. I think that's how you pronounce it.
We know you mean, brother.
Yeah. I'd take him because I have a feeling he might be able to set up a structure behind, or I'd take him as a director of football. But those are the two that I'd take. Potter, the dream is Potter as a manager and then a new director of football, or Rangnick in as the director of football, because Potter, the football he plays, we've always had success from taking managers from inside the Premier League, bringing someone like Ten Hag, even Nagelsmann into the Premier League where they have no experience. I think that's even more of a risk. And Brighton, I know you've got those, you've got way to get stats up, but if you look at Brighton's like expected goals, I believe they're only behind Man City for expected goals. They outplay everyone, and he's got players like Dan Burn rampaging up the left sides. Do you know what I mean? Like this, I honestly think that with our squad, he'd get a better tune out of us than Jose has, or then probably even Ten Hag could have with the adaptation to the Premier League. I'm not going for big names. We wanted people like Van Gaal when we got Poch in. Poch was our third choice. He fell into our lap. We never do well with the big names. We don't, even when it comes to signings. Like, so keep him with that. I'd give Graham Potter a go if he's the only decent manager around. I'd be happy with him.
Listen, viewers, we're going to bring the panel on very, very soon. Stay backstage for us, Josh. Viewers, Josh has said that, I'll quote Josh here, Graham Potter is the dream. Graham Potter is the dream. I'm messing. I winded you up here. Graham Potter is the dream here today. Josh, we'll speak to you in a few minutes, bro. Spurs fans tuning in, do you agree? I know a lot of people are laughing at that, saying, nah. But let's see what's being said. I think Neeks is here. If I see Neeks on mute, then I'll bring him in. He is there because I didn't know if he'd walked away. Man like Neeks is here. What you saying, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Spurs are trying to pull via Fabrizio Romano about we rejected him. Listen, you call man into your office, and he did not like what you offered him, whether it was salary, whether it was length of contract, whether it was a discussion about what kind of control you have on transfers, etc., budget, and talks broke down. You wanted him. Like, it's clear Spurs wanted him, and Spurs didn't get him. So now put out, no, yeah, we turned him down. Like, you fooling. You're not fooling me. And I think they're not going to fool most Spurs fans. The reality is, whether you want him or not as the manager, I know Josh speaking about he wants Potter. You know, there was talk about Nagelsmann before, there's Rangnick, etc. The fact is, Ten Hag is a good coach. And if he was one of your choices, which by all intents and purposes he was, you've missed out on a good coach. That's not a good thing. It's nothing to celebrate. Yeah, and I'm not saying anyone's doing this, but we turned down Ten Hag. Yeah, we're big. No, you missed out on a good coach. Now what? Who next? And I think what might be a bigger concern is actually if we find out the details as to why talks broke down. Because are the reasons why those talks broke down, is that going to affect future manager appointments? Are those some of the reasons why maybe things didn't work out with Pochettino, for example, in terms of how much funds are available, control over transfer, etc., etc.? We don't know. Levy has questions to answer. Levy has to make the right appointment because it's on his head that Jose appointment and Jose sacking. The next appointment has to be the right one. And I think missing out on Ten Hag, no matter how you brush it up, no matter how you look at it, it can't be a good thing. If I move to Beyonce and she says, you ain't rich enough for me, or you need to have a certain amount of net worth, and I say, well, I walk away because I'm not willing to spend that. She turned me down because if I had the net worth, it would have worked out. She turned me down.
And I think there's a lot of spin. A lot of people are saying, Terry, Fabrizio Romano didn't say Spurs rejected him. Listen, I've read out exactly what Fabrizio Romano said. I'm giving you my take. When you say you stepped away, that's telling me you've rejected, you've turned down, you've moved away from. Of course, I'm using fan language here, right? I'm not a journalist. I am not at Sky Sports. That's not what we are here. This is, don't ever expect fan media to sound like the corporate stuff. That's why you're here and you're not there, right? I'm not saying, they allegedly walked away due to a breakdown in communications. No, they're saying we walked away because we didn't want him. That's what they're saying. I'm just giving you fan interpretation. So Fabrizio didn't use the word reject. What Fabrizio said, for anyone that wants to know, is Ten Hag has extended his contract at Ajax. He has not turned down Tottenham. Tottenham board decided to take a step back after talks with Ten Hag in the last 48 hours, being aware that Ajax intended to trigger a one-year option. Well, that's the point, isn't it? They're going to trigger that one-year option. So it's going to become more expensive. And because it's more expensive, they've said no. So basically, they've bottled it. They've pulled away because it's too expensive for them. So they're going to go for a lesser manager, in their opinion, because it's going to be £4-5-6 million cheaper. Spurs fans, how do you feel about that?
Imagine at the end of a night of a club, and there's been a guy that's been with a girl, a lot of the night, most of the night, to be honest, and he's going to drive away in his BM. You kind of, he goes to the bathroom. You catch her, you're like, all right, listen, come back with me, innit? She goes, all right, he's got the BM. He's offering to take me home. What have you got to offer? and you say, my Uber is on the way. She goes, I'm not getting in the Uber. And you're like, well, I ain't got a BM. I'm walking away. No. If you had a BM, she might have gone with you. Like, there's no way dressing up. You went for the girl and you couldn't meet her demands. It's as simple as that. Spurs, listen, it's another L. It's another L.
Listen, and a lot of Spurs fans here are saying here. There's another comment from Fabrizio that says they had a meeting in the last hours and Tottenham decided to go for other candidates. That's it. Normal in football. Never said he had an agreement with Spurs. And no one, listen, I think that's someone saying, Fabrizio, you said there was an agreement. And I don't think Fabrizio did say that. It sounded yesterday like an agreement could be reached soon due to the fact that the way it was presented yesterday was Ten Hag's going to make a decision after Ajax secure their league title. And if you look at the league, it's going to be about 2 wins. In this current climate, that's about a week or two, right? Because of how many games they play. Could even be this weekend if they win and the team in second lose. So it did seem like that was coming quickly. A lot of Spurs fans are going to spin this as we walked away, but it's why did you walk away is important. I don't think Spurs have rejected Ten Hag or stepped away because they think there's better options out there. I think they're doing it from a cheap point of view. Equally, is Ten Hag like people say, oh, he didn't refuse Spurs. I think we're arguing over semantics here. If Ten Hag wanted to move, I'm telling you now, if this was Man City, Chelsea, Manchester United that were going after him, I think there'd be a more concerted effort for Ten Hag to pull away and get himself away from Ajax. There's no doubt. It seems like he's quite happy to do a few more years there. It's like, Tottenham would be okay, but I'm happy where I am. Neeks, we'll speak to you again soon, mate. I'll put you backstage. Top man. We're going to bring the panel. Oh, sorry, Neeks, didn't mean to cut out when you were talking there. Sorry, bro. The fake creator says, you ever walked up to a restaurant, saw the prices on the menu outside and said, I don't fancy the food? That's it. That's the comment. That is the best analogy. It's not you rejecting the food. It's you rejecting the price because you can't afford it. And we've all been there, bruv. I did that once. I met a girl. I don't know where we met now. But anyway, she's like, we'll go out. I was like, we meet in London. We met like Leicester Square. We had a few drinks. And I was young, right? I was like 20, 21. Didn't have a lot of money. And we had a couple of cocktails. And already I'd done like 40 quid. And in my head, I was like, I ain't got much money left for this date, you know. And then we went looking for food. And with the first 3 restaurants, looked at the menu outside. And the first thing I did, look at the price. I'm like, how much is like a burger? Normally the cheapest thing in the restaurant. I was like, £25, bruv. No, please. Went to the 4th place and she picked this place. And it was, honestly, I texted my brother, can you transfer me some money? Because my car was getting rejected. My card was getting rejected. Imagine that. No way. You're bringing back memories here, bruv. There's a comment. There are a few other stories I want to speak about today as well, though, which is interesting. A big report this morning from Laurie Whitwell that Paul Pogba may be signing a new deal at Manchester United. Equally, Cavani may be tempted to sign a new deal at Manchester United. We will go through that with a little bit more detail this afternoon for you. Oh, breaking news. Oh, wow. It's actually broke now. Edinson Cavani has decided to stay at Manchester United and fulfill his contract. Official announcement expected next week. Edinson Cavani stays. That means no new striker. That means we can focus on midfield. Bye, Jadon Sancho. We're back. We're back. Glazer's in. Ollie in. We're back. I mean, joking. It's a joke before anyone gets over the top. Oi. Edinson Cavani to stay. Edinson Cavani to stay. Yes, and did you see him last night? He's not a good enough striker, they said. He misses so many chances. Stick that in your pipe and eat it. Cavani. Yes. Yes. I feel like doing the Bruno celebration from last night. Do you know what I mean? There, I've got to lose some weight. Look at that chin, bruv. That chin is mad. I'm going boxing later. I'm going to do that out. Right, we're going to bring the panel back. We're bringing the panel back here. Who we got for the panel? Who's actually backstage still? We've got Tom. We've got KJ. We'll bring them on in a few secs. Comment here. Brendan is doing a good job at Leicester. Why would he go to Spurs? Next season, Leicester will be in the Champions League. I hear you on that. There is no reason. There is zero reason. Zero reason. I don't know why I put on a weird sort of French accent there. That was a bit strange, Terry. That was very strange. Why'd you do it? I don't know why I'm talking to myself either. But there we go. Let's bring the panel on now. We're going to go boom. Tom and KJ are here. Gents, quickly, reaction from you, KJ. Cavani to stay.
Yo, change the title because who cares about Spurs and Ten Hag rejecting them, bro? This is bigger news, fam. You know what I'm saying? Cavani to stay is good. I was one of the people that said if he left, I wouldn't be upset. But what he's done for us, he has not disgraced the number 7 shirt like previous people. So that's also a massive bonus. But overall, Cavani staying, I can deal with it. I'm happy with it. Like either way, I wasn't too fussed. If he stays, and that means we have more funds available to go after a right winger and a DM, I'm with that. I'm for that, and hopefully that is the case. That's all I can say. I hope. That's all I can say. I hope, because you know that what these pagans are like, and they like bunnies, man. But yes, this is good news.
How about yourself, Tom? Like, you're obviously a Liverpool fan, seeing this news break. Give me your thoughts.
Well, it's a very, very good move for United, because you're going to get, I'm pretty sure you're going to get Sancho. I've been saying it for ages. The deal's probably been done. They're just waiting until Dortmund eventually give in. You get Sancho, Greenwood can go up front, and there's not many better mentors in world football than Edinson, Cavani to learn off. That's like the level United are back at now. Greenwood learning off Cavani, that's ridiculous. He's already amazing. If he can get that extra mentality off a serial winner, Jesus Christ.
I couldn't agree with you more. How about yourself, Josh? Seen the news just break there. Cavani's going to stay at Manchester United.
Wow, I thought he had another year on his contract anyway, didn't he?
He did.
That's the deal that Terry's talking about. The option to extend.
The option is it's I don't know what the official word for it is, but it has to be mutually consented. United can't just trigger it; he has to agree.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's now been convinced to stay for another year.
Why wouldn't you? Like, what else is he going to do? What, go back to Argentina? Like, you're playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he's not set the world alight, in my opinion, but when he has played, he's been good, I think. Do you know what I mean?
I think the allure, and I'm hoping that obviously fans coming back soon. He hasn't played in front of an Old Trafford crowd, so he's experienced Manchester United, but he hasn't experienced Manchester United. So by the end of your career, you say, "Oh, I played for Man United," but you ain't playing in front of no fans. You can't even speak about an experience, to your children, your grandchildren. I think even that alone, another year, maybe England's out of lockdown, so we can actually experience Manchester. I think that was a big thing. Him not being able to even probably leave the house. He don't have his family close by, etc. One more year, you can maybe get a better experience. And I'm delighted, because for me, he's the best striker we got. It's not even a question for me. The best striker we got, and it allows us to put our funds in at least 3 other areas where if we had to get a striker, that's probably the whole budget.
I think yesterday had a big part of it as well. I think maybe he sees what he could have for a year, an extra year, maybe win something else. Like if we win the Europa League, he'd probably think, actually, what's happening here, we could probably go and win something else as well. So for his career, it's a good move. Like, it's a good move. And if it doesn't work out next year, he could probably move in January if he really wanted to. You know what I mean? He can still get his move back home real quick if, say, things go to pot. So for Cavani, it's a win-win. He doesn't really lose in this situation, because he had clubs already want to come for him. He's got one of the biggest clubs in the world wanting him to stay, begging him to stay, making him feel welcome and feel wanted. So for Cavani, it's a win-win. And for United, we go again. We have a striker that can be relied upon to produce big moments. We have a striker that can help nurture our younger players, especially Greenwood. And now we can have funds, hopefully have funds to go and fix other holes. Because we already fixed, we didn't fix the hole. We plugged the hole with Bailly signing a new contract. So that means a new centre-back wasn't coming in. With this now, highly likely that there isn't going to be a marquee striker coming in. There may be one coming in, but not a marquee one. So that means DM right wing, again, hopefully is where they're going to put the focus on and move forward.
Do you think that this could be because there's like rumours flying around that Kane's been told he has to stay for 1 more year? Do you think that could have anything to do with it?
I haven't seen those rumours, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's been told that Kane's got 3 years left in his contract. Levy is under no pressure to sell him whatsoever. Like, Kane is between a rock and a hard place. He's not going to go on strike, but he probably feels that he needs to leave. But I think I believe, especially with the market that we're in, he's probably stuck for another year with the price that Levy wants, especially to an English club. We know he's going to put on an extra 20 or 30 million to an English club. If you're Chelsea, he's probably going to double it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. It's such an interesting sort of situation right now to sort of view and to look at and to be in from a striker point of view. As you spoke about yesterday, there's so many strikers that are going to be available in the market this summer, and maybe Man United just look at it as a case of we'll keep Cavani, we'll focus on the other key areas we've got. I think the striker role became a key issue when Cavani said he wanted to leave, because Greenwood isn't ready yet to be the main number 9 striker. He isn't. Rashford, it's not his strongest position. Martial, we know Martial's better out wide. We need Cavani for 1 more year. Fix the right-hand side of the attack. Fix the midfield. Maybe look at an additional centre-back coming in. And then what you can do is maybe the following. If these summer transfers work for Man United in the same way last summer seemingly have, you can then go into the summer of 2022 and say, we just need a striker. It makes it a clean summer where you say everywhere else is pretty much taken care of. And there are rumors again today that Man United might also be about to re-sign Paul Pogba. Laurie Whitwell has reported in The Athletic that the mood is great, and I know Ollie outers are going to hate this, but a big part of it is Pogba has been so impressed with how Ollie has separated agent from player, how nothing Mourinho has done has damaged the way Ollie treats him at the football club. And I think that's huge. I think that's key. And I think that's of the most paramount importance that managers behave in that way, because it isn't Paul Pogba's fault per se what Mino Raiola does in public. And I know a lot about sack him, get rid of him, but he also protects him from things as well, from clubs mistreating him. And it's important to remember that. So this is amazing.
Can I just say, I think the fact that we've re-signed Eric Bailly. I'll listen to Fabrizio Romano's Here We Go podcast, and he says that this hasn't actually changed Man United's approach in terms of getting a centre-back. I think, obviously, I don't know how much funds we've got available. It might be 100 million. If we said, we're going to get a defensive midfielder and a right winger, we might need to have to sell a few players, the likes of Dalot, Pereira, etc., to raise some funds. I think a centre-back could still be on the cards. Now, what level centre-back? I don't know. Are we going to get a Varane for the amount of money that we're going to have remaining? I don't know. But I think re-signing Bailly doesn't necessarily rule us out of the market. I guess what it does is say it's not a priority, but I think we're still on the lookout for a centre-back.
Yeah, it could do, because we got to remember, Phil Jones is still here, and there is no way that will he survive another year at Man United? I don't know.
He will do. He's going to survive another year. He strategically gets injured in the transfer window, so no one buys him.
Does he have 1 more year left?
No, yeah, I think he might have longer than that. Oh my lord, we gave him like a 4-year contract, man. Make me feel ill. But anyway, we've got Tuanzebe is a player that people are not sold upon, bro. You know what I'm saying? They're not sold upon, so he could go out on loan or not if be sold. Then that leaves us with 3 centre-backs if those 2 players leave. So we would have to buy another one. So yeah, there is an opportunity for United to get another centre-back, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm just jealous. I'm in news go, we've got Cavani back. We're going to keep Harry Kane. I'm sat here watching my Samba and Gog barely get 10 goals a season now. I'm trying to get justified because he tracks back and defends.
You know what's mad?
Give to have a strike who scores goals.
Life comes at you so quick. And a few people are asking for the statistics of Cavani. I think he has 12 goals and 2 assists this season, which some people say is average. But when you
14 starts.
Yeah, it's from 14 starts. And you look at the total minutes played, it doesn't add up to 2. I think it's something about like 22 games if you add all the minutes together. And I'm hoping a good summer, a good preseason, keep him fit for the majority of next year, and he could be such an asset to Man United. And the one saving grace is in my opinion, he has broken. So 5 assists, I think he has. Sorry, I think he has broken the number 7 shirt curse, because he's come in and he's handled it with distinction, and he's done very, very well. So I'm very happy he's staying. We're going to go to some more calls here. First up on the show, we've got Abs. Abs is with us. What are you here to say, Abs?
Okay, so I'll be honest. Tom, relax. Don't worry, I'm not going to go on you today.
Thank fuck I don't want any more Sunderland going.
Nah, but you know what? I've come to just basically say I'm a bit worried, for United, because this could well be just another Glazer PR stunt. If you think about it, last year when you were going to go cop Jadon Sancho and you were expected to go out there and go get him, in the end you never went and got him, and you went and got who? Van der Beek, Cavani, Alex Telles, and who else? And you got
Diallo and Pellistri.
Yeah, you got Diallo and Pellistri. Now, what I'm thinking is that if you've gone and signed Cavani to a new deal, and you've gone and signed, Barry to a new deal, fair enough. It may rule out the possibility of not getting a marquee centre-back or marquee striker. But then what's the guarantee that you're going to go get a DM like a Declan Rice, or you're going to go get Jadon Sancho? You may end up going and getting Chiesa, for example, from Juventus instead. Or this could be just another Glazer PR stunt where they go and look at the best performing players over this season and they say, right, we're going to offer you a new deal because we want to try and, gas up United fans, so you can say, all right, fine, start buying shirts, start buying season tickets again, which I'm not saying all United fans do. Some of them do, though. And what I'm worried about is now that you'll end up believing that you're going to go get Jadon Sancho, and then you just won't follow through.
So, listen, you make a good point there. So, I listen, in terms of the Cavani news in isolation, I'm happy with. Point blank, happy with it. Does it mean I'm happy with? I know I had a very hyperbolic, disingenuous rant where I said Glazers in, Ollie in. It was a joke, and I'm not saying you're pointing that out. If we re-sign Cavani and we re-sign Pogba, that's great news. But if we don't address the right-hand side of the attack, if we don't address the midfield, if we don't address at least backup in defensive roles, if we don't get rid of Phil Jones and a few more of the sort of the dead wood to free up salary, then it's still a bad summer. You can have good elements to a bad summer. Not everything has to be looked at as bad. So I will, as a Man United fan, I'm able to ring fence good moments from my overall feelings, and most can do that if that makes sense. And I've seen a few people say things like, I'm not buying into any of the sort of transfer stuff this summer. It's all Glazer PR. Look, I'm not doing that. For me, I love the transfer window. I love the excitement it brings. I love the debate it brings. The reason I love discussing transfers is, where would he play? What would he do? Who comes in? Who goes out the team? I love that talk. I don't even care if to a degree if the deal doesn't happen. I'm not in my feelings about it like that. I see some people are like, I don't want to hear any transfer news until they're holding a shirt. That's cool for you, bro. But I'm cool to just that. The link today that Liverpool are going to sign Messi. I want to talk about it from a validity point of view. Could it happen? If so, where does he play? Who drops out? If you don't enjoy that kind of conversation, then roll on from it. But because I talk about it, it doesn't necessarily think the Glazers are doing a great job because I'm believing directly in these stories, if that makes sense. So you have to take more of a pinch of salt, have a bit of fun with it, and just relax a bit. But forever in a day, I'm going to plagiarize KJ here, bun the pagans, get the Glazers out of my football club. Don't matter who they sign. They can literally sign every target I want. My feelings towards them change not, because they're only giving me what a club of my stature, our finance, our heritage should be doing. It's delivering what we should be getting. And like Paul Scholes went on a rant last night in the BT Sports build-up. Didn't agree with every element. Like I think he sort of mentioned no connection to City fans, to their owners. I kind of think there is. But he pointed out when you're winning, you feel more of a connection to them. But for me, there'll never be a connection with the Glazers. They've done too much damage. But it doesn't mean I don't want them to re-sign the right players, bring in the right personnel, because what my team does on the football pitch is highly, highly important. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. Abs, great call though, mate. Thanks for coming on. It's good to see that. Good to see that face on face as well.
I don't get how he said re-signing Bailly is a bad move. Like, it's with us re-signing massive. It's not a terrible move if you're doing it to rely on him. Yes, because you can't. But if it's sort of a luxury, we've got 3 reliable ones, and then we've got one who doesn't really play as much, but when he comes in, he's very good. That's what you want. That's what we had for a couple of years with Massive. You can't rely on him. You can't play 3 games without snapping a hamstring. But for them 3 games, he's very, very good. And that's what you need in certain games. Because gets better performances out of every other centre back he's with because he's quicker. So I don't see how it's necessarily a bad sign.
No, I agree. I agree. It's like I think by the end of the transfer window, you know whether or not re-signing Bailly was a good move. If you re-sign him, as you said, it's like letting go of Lovren last year wasn't bad for Liverpool. It was bad because you didn't replace him. He had to go because he's not good enough. But if you don't replace him, you're better off keeping him. So at the end of the transfer window, we'll know whether or not that was a good decision.
No, I completely agree. We're going to go to some more calls here. First of all, we've got Mr. Anthony back with us. Big contributor to the Terrace. How you doing, bro?
Very good, Terry. First of all, for you and the panel, good evening.
Good morning.
Good evening for me because it's 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I might say Neeks. Let him have his moment. Neeks trying to ruin it, bro. Excuse him. Sorry, Mr. Anthony. Excuse him.
Apologies.
So yeah. For Tottenham, I'm actually kind of interested in the Tottenham news with regards to Ten Hag, to be honest. Who would want to be in the Tottenham dugout, to be honest? It's without Kane next season, it's going to be a bit tough for them. However, I believe Maurizio Sarri might be an option for them as well. I would like to see Sarri back in the Premier League. Sarri has worked with like Napoli, who has a similar sort of operation like Tottenham. Not a very big transfer budget as at the clubs as well. And I think Sarri would be a very, very good fit for Tottenham. And I think they should seriously consider Sarri for the post as well. So that's something. And with regards to United's signings, I believe re-signing Pogba or re-signing Cavani can be classed as like a marquee signing, because re-signing Pogba is a massive achievement for United, and the same with Cavani as well, and maybe Bailly, but it should be celebrated.
I agree. No, I completely agree. This, bro, great call, mate. Thank you for coming on and having your say, top man. Sorry, someone who's about to speak there?
Yeah, I was about to speak. On Sarri, one of my mates was talking about this yesterday. If he signed for us, Daniel Levy would be responsible for his death because the amount of cigarettes he would have to smoke to get for a season. It would not work. It just would not work. But I do think that we're getting like a bit of hate here, and like I don't think people are being fair. There is a world where Levy interviewed Ten Hag, and he actually said, you know what, this guy's from the Dutch league. I've got other options that are in the Premier League. I don't know if he can do it with our structure. Like, and he actually said no. I'm not saying that's what happened, but that is possible. There's great candidates.
But Josh, isn't that isn't that an issue in the sense that?
No, because I didn't want Ten Hag. I didn't want Ten Hag. Like,
yeah,
I don't want. Yeah.
Tim Pot, find a manager.
This is why you've got to get over to the Gibby Sport page. There's some amazing content like this. They've got a match here. They've got a match. What's going to happen? Hi, Brendan. Zero. We have a big stadium. Brendan mused. He's got rid of him. Who's the next? Nope.
Ryan Mason.
Look at Ryan said. Stevie G. Oh, they've gone for Stevie G. They've got a match.
Here we go.
Is that the Scottish Premier Trophy? You
know what trophies look like?
You can have Spurs job on one to go on.
One condition.
You bring Jermaine Defoe with you.
You are playing the Champions League.
You won the Mickey Mouse. That's nice. That's nice. There is music, but we can't play it.
I couldn't slip into mine.
Right, Scott Parker.
Hello. Wow. Gorgeous.
Yo, Scott Parker's a shout as well, you know. Fam.
Yeah. Enjoy the championship next season. Oh, they're gone.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
Eric. Oh, they've got a link with Eric. Hi, Eric.
So this is what happened. This is what happened officially.
This is officially.
Yeah.
See, we rejected him. See,
I guarantee. Keep talking. What will the minimum transfer be? Oh, Eric.
Keep transfer to the minimum.
Amazing. You have some great English lads here already. Who have you got other than Harry Kane? I'll send you a dick pic.
Oh, God.
No, it's just diet. I got a booking for Harry. Eleanor will be happy.
Big Harry.
I've spurred it up. I'll need you back. And that's Alessandra.
That's brilliant.
Quality over there. Give me sport. Absolutely quality. Make sure you go check out the Facebook page. Honestly, some of the best content out there. Plus, we're now on there as well, regularly doing our match reaction shows as well. So there we go. Big up to my bros KJ and the guys. Why has KJ's name been mentioned and not mine? This is not good.
I told you. Vibes FC don't care about you, fam. Vibes FC don't care about you, bro.
Absolutely. João Felix is also heavily linked with us again. Do you know what? We have actually got a big Arsenal person coming on the show in the next few days to talk Jack Grealish to Arsenal and Jack Grealish in general. So keep your eyes peeled for that. There are some rumours I've seen today as well that maybe Man City might be looking at Grealish and Raheem Sterling leaving. I just need some stuff floating about. I mean, that would be an amazing. Wow. I think Jack Grealish could be hot property this summer. Let's do some more calls. We've got Matty, who's a Chelsea fan, on with us now. What are you saying, Matty?
You all right, Terry? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Now, here's a question for all the Tottenham fans. You know, obviously now you've got rid of the special one. You've also got rid of Poch. You've also let go of other managers as well. Here's the big $1 million question. Who are you going to get? Because I can see Fat Sam being available.
I'll add this.
Bro, that wasn't even that funny.
It's only a bit of salt, mate. Only a bit of salt. You know what it is. But, I mean, who would you take, though?
I've said, didn't it? I'd take, out of the options available, I'd take either Graham Potter or Rangnick. That's the ones that they're saying that we're linked with. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's it.
Would Sarri be a bad? I've heard that name about, not like before the Tinder, the official Tinder conversation, or swipe anyway. Would you take Sarri?
I'm just sick of these ex-Chelsea managers, man. Jose, I mean, all this like it's no, I'm not having it. People are talking about Conte as well, huh?
It goes to something when the Chelsea ex-Chelsea managers actually get success at Chelsea, and yet they can't get any success at Tottenham. Yeah, I mean that goes to show it, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, one spends monstrous amounts of money, and the other one doesn't, isn't it? So it's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Josh having none of it.
Josh is not even biting today. Listen, Matty, thank you for calling in, bro. Really appreciate it. You can see that pain as well. It's like, yeah, we know where we are. We know where we are.
You know what? With Tottenham, I don't know whether they'll have a manager. I don't know whether a manager, in the sense of a manager, is the best move because of how much Daniel Levy wants to run that club.
Wait, so what you're saying, bare coaches, bro, and that's it?
Just have like a first team coach and then have a coaching staff around him.
Yeah,
and
that's what
Levy wants control over the transfers, don't he? Just leave him to do the tactics for the team.
But we are looking for a director of football, apparently. That's what, you know, a couple of tier ones have said. So hopefully, I'm hoping, because if Leeds does the same thing, then it's just, you know, we're Europa League team for the next few years.
Ed Woodward is available, bro.
Available.
Ed Woodward is out there, the most famous one there is. Fixer's now on the show. Fixer, welcome back. What's your reaction to Cavani staying at Manchester United?
Yeah, I think that could be a good thing for United, you know. But the only thing I don't like about it is why is he staying after he's already come out and said he wants to go home. His dad has come out and said he wants to go home. So you know, why is he staying? I mean, have we gone out of our way to like persuade him to stay and things like that?
Lockdown is lifted. Lockdown is lifted.
You know.
Well, I look, Neeks has pulled on it. I think lockdown's an interesting thing to take. All players that have maybe struggled a bit this year at times. Think about this. Cavani, Timo Werner, all these individuals, they've moved to a brand new country, new culture, new league, new everything. And like the rest of us, they've spent some time at training each day, which is great for them to have that outlet and going to games and stuff. But the rest of it, they've spent either in hotels or in their house, not exploring, nothing. And I just think what you'll probably find if you got Cavani, to be honest, is that he went through a period where he felt homesick, missing his family, like all of us have done in this time, missing friends, missing family. The majority of his friends and family live in South America. So it's not even as, like, I know people I know have like driven down the road and stood in front gardens and spoke through windows. He can't do that with his family living like 3,000, 4,000 miles away. So I think there was an element of him being homesick. But as the world's maybe opening up, he's getting out and about, maybe people can fly over and see him. He's maybe just...
Have you noticed the weather's better? The weather's better now.
Yeah. I understand that. I mean,
but on top of that, on top of that, you've also got this element of whether people like it or not. United have turned some corners. The way,
absolutely.
In this new role that he's in. You know, Cavani's playing, scoring goals. Maybe there is this sense that maybe Cavani knows Pogba's. Maybe Cavani knows Pogba's signing a new deal, and he's like, do you know what? Let's give it another year because this team could do something maybe next season. And imagine how you would feel if you're the player like Michael Owen. You leave Liverpool and then they win the Champions League. Like imagine being like that. Imagine being, sorry to have a pop there, but like imagine Cavani goes back to South America and then Man United win the title next year. He might look at it and go, I could have been there. I could have been doing that. I think he's making the right decision.
Yeah, I agree with the decision. I'm happy that he's staying. And another reason why I think it's a good thing is because this allows us to like chill on the striker thing for like another season. Maybe get Sancho in. I don't really want Sancho like that, but I'm beginning to see that he might be he's the highest rated winger in Europe at the moment anyway. So if we're going to spend like 90 million on him and don't have to worry about Harry Kane and any other stuff, then yeah, that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, and it frees up Greenwood to get more time up front. Then we'll also have Martial who can fill in at times as striker and on the left wing.
Let's leave Martial out of it.
I'm not saying that. Oh my please, man! Listen.
Let's leave Martial out of it, man.
Relax. He can play there. I'm not saying he is a striker or he's the greatest one. He can play there if needed. One of the biggest issues right now is that if Cavani left and we didn't buy a striker, Martial does get injured at some point, and all we have is Greenwood. So having those three options up front again frees up the right hand side for a Jadon Sancho, for a
Greenwood is good,
for
man.
Rafinha.
Greenwood has really turned it up the last few weeks. One thing I think about Greenwood is I think Greenwood is one of those players that does better when he comes on from the bench. I mean, he does more, I think, for the team because it's like he reads the game really well. And when he gets to like a one-on-one situation, he doesn't panic. He doesn't like rush the ball and try to beat the man. He actually does like this little thing where he kicks the ball a little bit in front of him, but not too much. And then there's this little standoff he does where he moves his legs a bit, and then he invites the defender to make a move. Like, what are you gonna do now?
I think at this stage of Greenwood's career, he operates with space. He operates better with space, and obviously as the game gets later on, generally it gets a bit more stretched. And he has more space to operate. And that's why he's probably not ready to start as a number 9 week in, week out, because especially at the first 60 minutes of a game, you're not going to have no space. You're going to have 2 centre-backs right up your ass. You're going to have a defensive midfielder right in front of you. And there needs to be a kind of a know-how that only experience can get. And I think as he gets bigger and he learns that position more, he will get into it. So another season.
He's an excellent footballer.
Mason Greenwood, right? Listen, we know how good Phil Foden is, and I mean this with respect to Phil Foden. We look at him this season. The last 10 games, club and country, 3 goals. You look at Mason Greenwood's last 10 games, it's 6 goals, 1 assist. Mason Greenwood, in my opinion, would have had a better season than Foden overall if he hadn't have had the personal issues, the loss of a very close friend, the vicious media attacks at the start of the campaign that he suffered. And listen, I don't want Phil Foden to get any unnecessary. Neither should have been hounded by the press in the way they were after their
Foden is good too. Both of them are really good. Both of them are like.
No, I get that.
Like,
Let me just finish my point, please. So I just think that I don't want Foden get any crap, but he got pretty much left alone after that story came out. Mason Greenwood was hunted. He was being charged after, and I also think there was an element of Ollie taking him out the firing line. He didn't play a lot for like the middle part of the season. After all of that, he was played sparingly, missed quite a few games, kept on the bench a lot, and I think Ollie was really protecting him to release him back out. And next year, I think we'll see the complete coming of age of Mason Greenwood, and I think next year he'll break 25 plus goals in all competitions, and we'll really see what he's all about in the same way that Phil Foden has exploded this year as well. Next year will be Mason's coming of age, and it's exciting to see. But having Cavani to learn from and to nurture him at the same time, I think it's going to be important. We've got Igal here with us now. What are you saying, Igal?
Yo, Terry, what's going on? Guys, how does Tottenham bottle a managerial signing? It's actually funny. Such a Tottenham thing to do. I think at this point, it's going to be a situation where they're probably going to end up going within the Premier League, and they're going to look for another project. I don't hear any I don't hear anything with the manager from Southampton, but I think Scott Parker or Brighton's manager Graham Potter would actually be a Tottenham type managerial signing, where they look within the league, managers who play an attacking style of football with lesser clubs and could come into Tottenham and already know the league, understand how English football is played. And you know what? That's the kind of signing I see them doing. I think the signing of Ten Hag or
are they going to win trophies with this kind of
Nagelsmann would have
managers?
been a little bit.
Yeah, but they don't win trophies
bit
anyway.
Too premature for them.
Yeah, but that's what they want, isn't it? That's what they want. That's what Tottenham wants. That's the ambition. They've got this massive stadium. They want to go to the next stage where they're winning trophies.
Yeah, but
those managers.
There's nothing wrong with. There's nothing
If
wrong
they
with
wanted to win trophies, they wouldn't have sacked Mourinho before the cup final.
Yeah, I don't understand why they did that. I don't understand why they did that.
But listen, Jose's finished anyway, so that's not the point. He's gone. Tottenham, as much as they may want trophies, the managers that can win them don't want to go there anyway. Like, so they have only got what they can work with, which is a Graham Potter, a Scott Parker, which I believe
they can do better than that. The last time they won the trophy, they had one Ramos.
Brendan Rodgers said no. Brendan Rodgers said no. Ten Hag has gone back. He's going to Ajax.
Brendan Rodgers is not going to win a trophy
to Bayern Munich. The Allegri won't go Spurs. Sorry, maybe. But those are the men that they've got. Who else have they got out besides that?
Just humble yourselves. Go for Scott Parker. Go for Graham Potter.
Scott Parker.
That's it.
Yeah, listen,
mate,
it's an interesting one. Fixer, mate. Listen, bro, thanks for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate that, bro. Final call we're taking on today is going to be man like Abs. What are you saying, Abs?
What are you saying, fellas? How are you?
Yeah, very, very good. What's your reaction to the Cavani news, first of all?
Oh, yeah, I literally jumped in like 20 minutes ago. I just wanted to confirm, is Cavani staying? Or because
So there was reports, just to bring us to life, there was reports this morning from The Athletic and a few other publications that it was like that it may be happening. And then there has been some confirmation this afternoon. It is the afternoon now. Yes, it is. I still thought it was the morning for a second there. That he will fulfill his contract. So essentially, he will agree to the extension. That's come from a journalist name. That's come from an ESPN correspondent who has said that. And that news is starting to pick up pace now. But it just basically says Cavani has decided to stay at Man United and fulfill his contract. Official announcement expected next week. Yeah, they won't make that announcement before the Liverpool game. They never will. So that announcement will probably come. If we lose to Liverpool, it will definitely be on Monday to brighten the mood. If we win, it might even come on Sunday. But yeah, so it looks very much like Cavani's going to stay for another season.
Excellent. Very, very excellent. Because I remember I came on 2 weeks ago and I said this transfer window, United should concentrate on the right-hand side and the DM, and next season go for Kane. It looks like that's what they may be doing, just putting it out there. But yeah, if we can get a DM and a right wing and sign Pogba back, I think that'll be a good transfer window.
Mate, that would signing Paul Pogba would just be colossal because he's irreplaceable. And what's really amazing about Paul is the fact that he's been given this freedom on this right hand. The interesting thing is, this is a lot of people always challenge me. Rashford bias. Rashford's best position is on the left. He can't play on the right. I know he's got a bit of an injury, but he can't play on the right. Even fully fit, he ain't that good on the right. So I want us to address that right hand side of the attack, re-sign Pogba. And if Pogba ends up challenging Rashford and keeping Rashford out the team on that left-hand side, to quote my guy Dave from Top Boy, I don't care. That's what I want. And interestingly, I think Paul Pogba is better than Jack Grealish moved out to the left hand. Jack Grealish is amazing. I think Paul Pogba
100%.
is
Oh,
better.
hell yeah.
He's not as good a dribbler. He can't dribble past people it's sort of from a standing position in the same way. That's due to the fact that he's nearly 7 foot tall. It's harder to do that. But I think his overall influence and ability when he has that freedom on that left-hand side is sensational. And maybe, again, these are reasons why Paul might look to stay. Ollie's found a system with the team and a place for me where I'm happy, I'm enjoying it, I'm influencing, and he's having those moments. And I wouldn't want to call him a luxury player. Always sounds like an insult to people like Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
He isn't great at doing a Paul Ince or a Roy Keane or a Paul Scholes and dominating the midfield and controlling the tempo like a Michael Carrick did, or being the ball winner and the dominant figure in the middle. He's about flair, creativity, opening teams up, unlocking individuals, and helping us to break down these low block teams. We tend to play him on the left-hand side in the bigger games. I want to now start seeing him play there when we're up against the low block teams. I want to see him in that position on a more regular basis because he's coming to his own in it. He loves it and he's thriving. And this could save us so much money and reintegration. Re-sign Paul Pogba. You don't necessarily need Jack Grealish. It gives us more competition and backup in those attacking roles. Go and get an Ndidi or a Declan Rice to play next to a Fredo McTominay in the middle to solidify that midfield. Bring in someone great on that right-hand side like Sancho with the backup of Ahmad coming through. And suddenly there's no excuse for Ollie anymore. We get the answers. Is he good enough or not? So for me,
listen, if Pogba takes Rashford's position on the left, that means we've got Rashford on the bench. Do you know how sick your squad is to have Rashford on the bench?
Right. And imagine if we actually signed an actual DM who could actually do that role. Are you telling me that a 4-3-3 with Pogba and Bruno in that midfield at either side? Because Bruno tracks back, Bruno works hard, he can do that role. And Pogba, Ollie even said it himself, he wants him as far away from the penalty box as possible because it's his way of penalties. But if you have that, you can also play with Rashford.
Yeah.
You can also, but if you want to change it up, you can take Rashford out, put Pogba there. The options are there if we buy this central defensive midfielder and keep Paul Pogba. That is what we need from a Manchester United team. Fergie had many solutions and many different ways of playing when he needed to. Yeah. That's what we need to get back to.
Let me ask you a question, guys. As Manchester United fans, do you guys feel like the window that you guys were complaining about so much and angry about has now come out to be, you know what, a little bit under the radar has been good for you guys, with Cavani coming in being a leader from the front. And let me finish, man. With Cavani coming in being leader, with the left back coming in Telles raising Luke Shaw's levels, and then you also have young Ahmad coming in instead of Sancho, and you can still get Sancho in the future.
Okay, so everyone said no, and they have the different reasons as to why. For me, Gal, it's a case of the one thing I was wrong about is that they weren't panic buys in terms of they fit whatever our process of picking players, attitude, behavior, desire, ability, fitting a system. The signings have all pretty much worked in that regard. Telles hasn't played as much as he wanted, but it spurred Luke Shaw on, so it's had the desired effect either which way. Cavani has done a lot better than many of us thought, but it still doesn't make it a good summer in the sense of we should have stopped pursuing Sancho weeks earlier. If we'd have had Cavani and Telles in from the beginning, proper pre-seasons, etc., I think the reason it's taken Cavani as long as it has done to really get settled is because there was no preseason. He hadn't played since February anyway. He then had like 2 weeks of quarantine, no preseason. He had the ban for the Instagram post, which we understand exactly why he was banned. That didn't help. A few niggly injuries, which I think have been born out of not playing much for a year, not having a preseason, and he's now finding his feet and delivering because it's almost like he's finally match fit. If we'd have brought these players in the July time and they were match fit, ready to go from the start of the season, I think you could be looking at Cavani on over 20 goals. And I think in that beginning part of the season where we were a little bit rusty because we'd only, remember, our new season only started 2.5, 3 weeks after we ended the previous season. We may have started the campaign better. So I get your point, but for me, it still wasn't a good summer in terms of execution, not who we bought. Yeah. To be a brilliant clubs, They sign the right players on a more regular basis than not, but they get the business done quick, concisely, and for the right money. And those are the areas that Man United fans are more frustrated with, that there doesn't seem to be a great strategy in who we sign, as well as we don't always sign the right players. I don't know if anyone would add to that, but that
yeah.
I
said for me, the reason why it wasn't a good summer, because it's legit luck from the board and from the structure. They did not plan for this to happen. They did not say, "Oh, this is going to be excellent for our club. Let's go do this." They were like, "Crap, we can't get Jack Grealish. We can't get Upamecano. We can't get Sancho. So let's just panic around and quickly scramble for players and make it happen." Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if he wins the Europa League and finish second, deserves so much credit for doing that, because when a club is not when a club does not.
Yeah, so
mate, you're on mute. You're not on mute.
Let me go. I was so confused about it. Who's he talking to? But when when a club is scrounging things together and saying, "Here you go," to a coach, that, you know how unfair and how hard it can be to actually make that work. So it's not. It's got nothing to do with some elite planning that's gone under the radar. It's got everything to do with the players and Ole stepping up, coming together, and making it work. The board do get no credit for this transfer window.
To put it simply, one second, sorry, quickly. To put it simply, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made the best of a bad situation. It doesn't stop it from being a bad situation.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Yeah. I really, really do. Listen, everyone that's tuned in today, thank you. Erik Ten Hag will not be the Tottenham manager, according to reports today. He has signed a new 1-year extension at Ajax. Spurs are telling us that they, I will phrase it in multiple ways, walked away, stepped down, pulled back from, rejected, whatever way you want to interpret it. That's just semantics. He's not going to be the Tottenham manager. They're looking at other targets, according to Fabrizio Romano. And breaking news this afternoon, while we were live, Edinson Cavani will stay at Manchester United next season. Official announcement coming next week. We're back live at 5 o'clock for a Liverpool-Manchester United preview. Make sure you're tuning in. It will be epic. It will be amazing. So make sure you're here. I don't want to see you anywhere else. 5 p.m. on the Football Terrace and 9 p.m. tonight. Kendall back with her ladies podcast. Really looking forward to that one. A few weeks away because of games played on the Friday. But until then, everybody, take care of yourselves.
One quick word.
Bye. God bless. And we'll see you all again